All right. So today you're going to get assigned a metric conversion worksheet to do. So making conversions in the metric system. We talked about this in the slides, but I'm going to present you basically two different methods to do that, which I think are easier and actually make a little more sense than what we talked about before. You'll notice I have the metric system set up on this horizontal table here versus what we talked about before, having a vertical ladder that goes up and down with the prefixes on it. This setting it up this way horizontally will help you decide which way to move the decimal point when you're doing conversions. This will also help you see how you can just use the exponents to figure out how far to move the decimal. So remember, the metric system has prefixes that tell you how many of the base unit you have. So the base unit is here. The base units are things like meter, gram, candela, ampere, second. So things without a prefix are the base. The prefixes tell you either if they're on this side of the base, how much more of that base unit you have, or if they're on the right side of the base, how much left. So mega is 1 million. You have 100,000 and 10,000, which don't have names. You have kilo, which is 1,000 times, hecto, which is 100 times, deca, which is 10 times, right? The base unit is just the base. And then starting this way, they become decimals, right? Deci is 10 to the negative 1, which is 1/10 of the base unit. Centi is 1/100th of the base unit. Milli is 1/1000th of the base unit. And micro is 1/1,000,000th of the base unit. Right? And then I've also included their abbreviations underneath them to help you when you're looking at these, decide which one you're talking about. Remember, mega is capital M, kilo is K, hecto is H, deca is DA to separate it from deci, which is just D. Centi is C, milli is small m, which separates it from mega, right? Big M is mega, small m is milli. And then micro, since we needed something besides M, is the Greek letter mu, which just looks like a U with two tails on it if you're writing it down. If you're actually putting it in a Google Doc, you will need to insert that in there, insert the symbol. Okay, so how am I going to use this table? This table is very helpful because it's going to tell you which way to move your decimal point and how far. Okay, so remember, when you're converting in between these prefixes, all you're doing is moving the decimal point to form an equivalent to what you started with. So let's just start with the first one and we'll see how it works, right? So I'm going to move from 12 meters. Meters is the base. Notice a single letter, so it's the base. I'm going to highlight that. Maybe, there we go. I'm going to highlight, oops, that's not what I want to highlight. Okay, off to a bad start there. Let's try that again. All right, I'm going to highlight the base. So this is where we're starting. And then I'm going to highlight milli because that's where I want to get to, just so we remember and can see, right? So if you remember when I talked about that ladder, it was a matter of just counting how many steps. You can do that this way on this one too, right? So if I start from base, it's 1, 2, 3 steps to milli, and I'm moving from left to right. So that means I'm going to move my decimal 3 spots from left to right, the same way I had to move on this table. That's what makes it better than the up-down table, because whichever direction you're moving on here is the direction you're going to move your decimal. So I'm going to move it 3 spots left to right. And remember, right now it's right there. So I have to move it 3 spots going this way. So I'm going to write down the answer and then I'll show you the count. Okay, so 1, 2, 0, 0. Right. So it was right there. 1 spot, 2 spots, 3 spots. It's now right there, right? So 12 meters is 1,200 millimeters, which makes sense, right? Millimeters are smaller, so you need more of them. The other way you can do that is you can look at the exponents and then just subtract them to come up with how far to move it. So I go 0, I'm going to find the difference. So minus a -3 equals 0. Minus 3 is 0 plus 3, right? Equals 3. So I'm going to move it 3 places And it's the same rule. If I moved left to right, I move my decimal left to right. So the same thing as counting got me, I can do just with the exponents. And eventually, at first you might be comfortable only with counting, but eventually you begin to see it's easier to do the exponents because you don't have to lay your table out. You just have to know what they are, right? So let's do this next one. Let me get rid of my highlights on these. And this time I'm going to go from kilograms. I'm going to highlight that. We'll make it green this time, to centigrams. Right, grams, yep. So I'm starting here. I'm going left to right. So I know I'm going to move my decimal from left to right the same way I'm going here. I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots, right? So I'm going to move my decimal 5 spots left to right. And I'm going to write down the answer here, and then we'll look at it. I'm going to leave this 0 so we can see the movement. Then we'll get rid of it. 0, 5, 0, 0, 0, right? So my decimal was right here, right? I moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now it's right there. And I just had that 0 there so we could see where we started. So I'm gonna get rid of it. So 0.05 kilograms is 5,000 centigrams. Let's look at what the exponents will tell us. So, right, we're just going to find the difference, and we always, when we do the exponents, we just do them the order they're in. So it's 3 minus a minus 2. So 3 minus 2 equals 5, right? Same answer we got from counting. It says we're going to move the decimal 5 spots, and we're going to go left to right because that's the direction we're going. All right, let's get rid of those highlights. Okay, now we're going to start at micrograms, right? So I'm going to start here. And I'm going to the DG, which is decigrams. Right. So now I'm moving from right to left. First we went left to right. This time I'm moving right to left. I'm starting here and going here. So that means I'm going to move my decimal from right to left. This time let's start with the doing just the exponents. So when I do the exponents, I'm still going to go in this order. So I'm going to go -1 minus 6. That equals, so -1 minus 6 is -1 plus 6 equals 5. So I'm going to move my decimal 5 spots, right? And it's right there now. So 0.04000, right? Now it moved from the right to the left because that's what direction we went. So let's count that move. So it was right there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. One, well, I know I did. I counted the spot I was in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves. Right? Sorry about that. Sometimes I confuse myself. Don't count the spot you're in, you count the steps, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4,000 micrograms is 0.0400 decigrams, right? And let's just count them up, see if they come out the same, right? So I start here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then let's look at this last one. So it's got a decigram in it already. So I'm going to leave that highlighted. I'm going to get rid of micro. Not get rid of it, but unhighlight it. I'm going decigram to kilogram. All right, so I'll highlight that one. I think it was that color. So now I'm going deci. I'm starting at deci, going to kilo. So I'm going right to left again. All right, so let's do it with the subtraction. So 3 is kilo. Remember, we do the subtraction in left to right order. 3 minus e minus 1 equals 4. It means I'm going to move my decimal place 4 places to the left. Right? So the answer would be 0.9000, right? I started with my decimal right there where the cursor is. I move 1, 2, 3, 4. So 9,000 decigrams is equal to 0.9 kilograms. And we can count that to see if that's right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think these two methods are pretty easy to use. You can use this table if you want, or recreate your own on paper. It'll probably be easier, but you can pause the video and use it. And I think most of you will want to start with the counting method. In other words, counting the steps on the table. But I think a lot of you will realize it's quicker and easier to subtract the exponents and just pay attention to which way you have to move the decimal when you do that, right? So that's it. Go ahead and do the worksheet.